Well, I guess it's time, so I'm going to officially call this workshop to order.
I'm gonna look at that one. I can see
This
it
is
better. Again, this.
somewhat informal. And I didn't talk to Wes prior to the meeting today about who was going to lead the discussion, but it's Wes.
That would be my
Okay.
Who's got the accounting background? Me. Oh, he's got a better one. He does.
Well,
Rather than taking my CP.
put this all together, began with the assumptions that Dan wanted to have included. And at the time, I was using as comparative numbers the 12 months ended September 30th because I was working on it in October. And that is the left-hand column. What we're really looking at is the right-hand column for the budget for 2024. And going down through it, the government revenue, 284,400. That's my best estimate right now of what we will receive.
Have a question on that. Why are you going lower than what we got actual was last year? We assumed that it should
I
increase.
guess to be conservative.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind of my practice. What I saw people usually do is try not to over budget revenue.
Well, you want to push it as far as you can, anyways.
Well, but then if you end up short, you got problems.
Yeah, okay. I'm just kidding you.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if you knew something I didn't. Okay.
no,
Okay.
I don't think so. And I really don't think that we will be getting that any share of the county property tax in general funds. I don't know why we got it before.
I don't know where that came from. I never understood.
Well, it came off of their reports. It was always what they paid, what the county paid us out of general fund. And we would have, I think we got 2 checks,
Okay.
as I recall. But that hasn't happened for like probably the last 10 months.
There's no legitimate reason for it.
Well,
It's not.
it might have been related somehow to delinquent taxes or something, but yet the delinquents should have been road.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, okay.
I guess the estimate, other revenue fines, 5,000 is an estimate. Business license applications, 6,000 is an estimate, because I think that was estimated at 120 licenses at $50.
And, we all know that that's just a placeholder number at this point because we don't have an ordinance for business licenses at this point.
Permit allocations, 7,500 is like a 10% reduction from 23 or from the past 12 months.
When,
Yeah,
backing up to interest income, is that on the CD or CD?
yes, on
That'll still run
the
into
reserve,
24?
on that reserve fund,
Mhm.
on that 70,000.
It was like 11 months or?
$70,000, and that'd be around 4%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conditional use applications, 15.5, that was based on 150, I think. Does that sound right?
Is that Airbnbs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, I would think it would.
yeah.
I mean, 15.5 doesn't come out even, but some of the other applications
Well,
were. Anyway, there was some number I gave you that sounds right.
I figured the 500 was the timeshares.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
sure. Yeah, 150 times 100
Yeah.
is the 15,000, and then one more for 500. Yeah, that's what it was.
And some rezoning applications, solid waste. We're looking at the one without Holiday Island doing solid waste, so that we've got 1,200 in there for that, for bag tags. So that makes total revenue of $324,550.
One thing, Wes, I meant to mention to you before the meeting, but you have an error in your formula under the actuals for the total revenue. You picked up under other revenue, you picked up the interest income line instead of the total line there in your total formula down there. So you got it correct in the budget line, but just when you're picking the lines to pick up.
Okay, on this one, I'm not seeing, I guess, what you're saying.
Well, under other revenue, you see the 824 for interest income, and right below that is 749 for the total.
1749.
1749.
1749.
22.
Yeah, you picked up the 824 instead of the 1749 to apply to the total revenue.
So I corrected that. The new total is 306,251.
That's correct.
Oh, it's clear down here then.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you grab that or whatever it was. Anyway, I've corrected it. Now it's 306,251.
It's a
Okay.
minor thing, but I didn't want
Okay,
In the budget line, it's a column, it's correct though?
Yeah, the budget line was fine.
Okay.
Budget line.
okay. Then as you go down through expenses, I think we budgeted 20 hours a week for a secretary, and my salary is in there, and then 7.65% for payroll taxes, and the workman's comp is 0.08%. Legal fees about the same as this past year. Rent is based on our rent for here, $1,500 a month. Other expenses, those are all the IT stuff. It's based on what we're paying. And there was some adjustment, I think, for inflation on some of their fees a couple months ago. And I have in there $2,498. That is for 50% of cost of licensing software. The other half is down under, let's see, that's general, would be under planning commission.
And that was the permitting software that you were suggesting?
Yeah. And we're supposed to have a conference call to talk about that this week, and then the founder of, that comes
CSA,
from
you said.
CSA, as it died, and there was a funeral, so that got put off. So I haven't had a presentation yet. And we have
Ken,
10,000.
you had a question?
Huh?
You
No,
had-
I was telling him to stop, he was
Oh.
scrolling. We got back to where we stopped at. It seems like we spend a heck of a lot of money with IT.
For,
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of money spread in each, what are we doing? I mean, is this-
well, the Center Point accounting, that's our accounting software for the licensing on that.
That's an annual licensing on the software?
There's an annual license, and then we pay $45 a month for,
We'll go down to IT, Pinnacle IT. What the hell are we paying?
It's our managed services
What?
company. They are our help desk, and they come out and
Security.
fix our problems. If Dan can't log in or something goes down in the back room there, they'll come fix it. They'll troubleshoot it over the phone. If you've got a problem with your PC, any of the guys with the PCs, they'll troubleshoot any problems they have accessing anything or doing
I guess
anything
we
on
can
the
afford
PC.
it, but Lord, that seems awfully high.
It's a disaster recovery kind of thing too.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you're running everything and they're backing everything up in the cloud.
That's right, and they monitor it constantly every month to see if things are backed up, if the PCs have been backed up. and all that kind of
Is that $6,800? Is that just for the accounting software?
No, that's
No.
the Pinnacle support.
no,
That's all our
that's,
support?
That's
all the
Pinnacle's.
accounting is under CenterPoint.
Okay,
And he gets help desk on CenterPoint too.
yeah.
They can troubleshoot problems and
I don't know.
it's a lot.
I manage one of these, the big one.
Things have gotten complicated since you and I were in that
Yeah.
business.
Exactly.
Well, and
I don't know, I
think,
can't see, they're PCs.
like things that we're getting in, that's monitored every minute, isn't it? Anything that comes in
Okay, go
is
ahead.
checked.
I just, it kind of jumps at me.
And security is a big part of it too.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, and
Tremendous
that-
part.
I didn't pay that much for mainframes.
Well,
That was then.
back then, eggs were 15 cents a dozen,
There you
so.
go.
Yeah, and a gallon of gas was 69 cents.
Yeah,
um,
multiply accordingly and,
You know,
Yeah.
the security part of it, we basically don't have any choice on. I mean, that's,
right.
you know,
Actually, yeah, in fact, the municipal league practically insists you use managed services, Peter.
Mhm.
Absolutely now.
Yeah.
Because it's so dangerous out there with all the creeps
Scammers,
out there
yeah.
trying to hack into your systems and hold you
To
ransom
get on
and
credit
stuff like
cards.
that.
In the last 2 months, I've had to have the credit card changed twice because it's something that I clicked on. It wasn't what I thought it was
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
on my phone, not on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, I share your concern and I express that at least once a week,
okay.
that we're spending a
A lot of money on.
fortune
on
on
we got half a
IT
dozen
stuff.
Yeah.
PCs.
All the different software packages and everything else, and
Just to stay safe.
yeah, a lot of it,
Right.
or a big chunk of it, is upfront expense, but there is an ongoing maintenance cost of it too. And
What are we back at the top for?
And I guess as we keep adding things more that we do, the risk
More
gets worse.
functionality,
now
more
that,
employees.
yeah, someday we may find that there's one software supplier out there that can do it all for us, and we can, maybe consolidate some of this.
How many suppliers do we have right now? We've got Pinnacle, we got,
Well, Pinnacle is a hardware and personnel support. It's
Okay.
not software.
okay.
CSA is about the only product we're using, other than
Yeah.
iWork.
iWorks, yeah, and,
Okay.
yeah, but within CSA, there's modules.
Modules.
Modules
At least
we
they're
buy.
connected.
Like
So they
this.
work
Which is a
together.
good-
Like this
Yeah.
$24.98, like the licensing software is a module with our accounting software.
Yeah, it would be a
Good.
worse headache to buy a separate
Oh,
product
yeah,
for that
absolutely.
and try to connect them ourselves.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Or to do that part of the accounting
manually.
manually, like permits and stuff like that, do it manually and then have to manually enter it into CSA anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that 2498 program is a partial off of the CSA accounting software.
Yeah.
What else does it do other than building permits?
Well, that's basically the licensing. It would handle all the licensing. I take it, well, like you can print the applications off I suppose you'd have to load them in, I assume.
You'd probably have to program them, yeah.
Yeah,
Get the forms in there.
and you print the licenses off, it'll track
Will it
the expiration dates, payments would get entered
Will it
in
do-
there, it'll track who owes. And then it's supposed to interface with the accounting software then.
And it says it'll also, I mean, what you wrote.
Well, can you do the
It says it'll also be able to write reports on who's expiring and do you have to follow up on
I say,
expiring.
does it do cups in too?
It'll do that too.
And I think it is worth mentioning on that. I've been told then the $24.98 is the initial software price, and then the renewal, the annual fee is $200.
Oh, that's good.
Is that all? A month or?
No, that's
Annually?
not what I understood. I understood
Better make sure.
Yeah.
because $200 a month would be
Well,
half as much as what the initial purchase price would be.
200
What's our annual renewal for the CSA accounting that we already have? Does that cost us like $5,000 or $6,000, I think, to purchase initially?
No, I don't think it's that
Not
much.
that
I'm
much.
thinking,
3 to 4? I can't remember.
see, we've got that 2,300, and that includes 45 a month for the online, or
Okay.
cloud software is included.
So,
Um,
120 a month or? No,
well, we just pay it once, and I'm thinking there's
2,300 divided by 12.
2,400, or not 24, 500 or 600 for an annual license fee for one, and then maybe because there's Red Wing, so the software is really Red Wing, and then CSA takes care of it, so they
These are
may
the
have.
tech support part, more or
Yeah.
less.
Mhm.
Okay, so part for Red Wing, part for CSA
I'm thinking,
people.
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
I'm thinking that the way it is.
okay.
Okay, and as you go on down through general, 10,000, I believe, Dan, you put in for library.
Mhm.
We may or may not do that,
Yeah,
but
again, that's a placeholder number.
it'd be better to have it in there than not.
Yeah, there's no actual plan to spend that, but I wanted to budget for it.
And I put in 2,000 for travel and training. And I do, and depending, I don't know what we do. If we go to conferences like municipal league conferences and stuff, I don't know if that'll be enough because I'd like this Clerks Institute was what?
I thought they were like
500 or
285
600. There was 5. I think the Clerks Institute was 500 for the registration, and then I had 4 nights of motel and travel, and so
I think that's very valuable for Wes
yeah.
to attend that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you don't tell us what he's doing.
We wouldn't understand anyway.
You should have to give us a travel report.
Well,
He did.
I did.
I don't mean that. I mean when he was actually.
I know you can. I know you can. And utilities, I guess is a guess, 4,200. I put in 350 a month because Island Airco told us since this is heated with heat strips in the winter, we'll have high electric bills.
Well, they don't, it's not a heat pump.
No,
Holy crap.
Are we thinking about replacing the one unit that doesn't work or just going without it?
just, we're gonna see about going without it. Cause the only rooms it does is those 3, the break room and Wes's office and my office. That's all it does. And during the air conditioning season, we didn't need it. So if we don't need it for the heating season, then I've already told Shane that we're not gonna, the two that are, there's 5 units out there, 2 of them are turned off at the breaker. And I told them we're not gonna maintain those 2 unless we find out that we need them. One is old, one is an old air conditioner with resistance heat backup, and or with resistance heat, and it's out of Freon and it's old and that part of it can't be repaired. However, if we did need supplemental heat, the heating part of it works. The other one that we have turned off is an air conditioner only, and it's ducted to the back rooms of the sheriff's substation. There's a room and then a bathroom, and then it's ducted into the electrical room, off of our break room, where all our computer stuff is. So, how they handled and it's wired into the breaker panel in the sheriff's substation.
Wow.
But it's air conditioning only, and I can't imagine the sheriff's substation bathroom needed extra air conditioning. So I think it was put in. Crazy. Well, I think it was put in specifically for air conditioning for that, that room where the bank had all of their
Our current computer room.
Because they had racks and racks
I'm sure they did.
for computer stuff, and it probably got pretty hot in there. So I don't think we'll need that. So anyway, we have 3 units running. The sheriff's substation 1 is a fully functional heat pump. The 2 that take care of this building, or this part of the building, are both air conditioners only that are in good shape with heat, resistance heat. And so we'll see how expensive it's going to be.
Well, I don't see why if they were inoperable at the time we took this over, I don't see why we would replace them. He ought to replace them. I don't know.
The only one that's inoperable, I don't think we're going to need. It's probably been inoperable for years.
Well, I know, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't see where that's our responsibility.
No, it's not.
I don't
It's
think
not.
it is.
I've already told them we're not
Okay.
gonna do
Yeah.
anything with it.
All right. I can understand
But it would cost us.
ongoing maintenance. So.
Yeah, I don't know we'll see what the heating bills are, but to replace those AC units with
It's not-
heat pumps, we're probably talking $15,000-$20,000, so,
not that. How big
So-
are they? How many ton?
I don't know.
I bought a 2-ton one for like 4 or 5,000.
Mm-hmm. So, at least 10,000 to convert to heat pumps.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wouldn't. You already, if you replace it with a heat pump, a heat pump's a heat pump.
Yeah,
It-
but I'm saying if we replace the 2 air conditioning units out here with heat pumps,
Okay, I thought you said.
it'd be $10,000 or more.
Yeah,
60 to
But
20.
that's not our problem.
Area will have to change.
I'm thinking they're
I don't go
Well-
along with it.
more than 6.
Okay, go.
Each, yeah. Well, going on then, so it ends up with $112,426 total expense for administrative, building and construction, the 15,000 salaries and wages and the related payroll taxes is based on some increase over what we've had this past year. And the other expense, I guess, is pretty much based on what our expenses have been running and nothing new there. So there's total 20,581 total. Code enforcement, we've increased your salaries and wages there.
Is that based on 20 hours a week, Dan, or?
Yeah, it's halftime.
And under code enforcement, we have $12,000 for potential animal control.
I got another thing from Cole. I tweaked him based on what kind of, there's some problems with that. You want me to just send that to everybody, or do you want to look at it?
Let me look at it.
Okay, because it's, his proposal is like for 9,000.
Mhm.
But, you need to look at it. I've got some questions. You look at it first and we'll set up a minute things. But I think if we go with it, I think we'll be able to do it for 12,000. Is it gonna be a?
We're gonna have to do something, but there's just no way we can, or I think we can justify
You told
spending
me.
$500 a dog or something like
Right.
that to round up a few strays.
Well, I got him to go from
40,000 to,
35 to
Yeah.
30 to 45,000 to
12.
9, so.
Was 9 for
You're
his
almost there.
service?
Huh?
Was 9,000 for his service, or did that include the housing of the dogs at Good Shepherd?
That's his housing
And his services?
yeah. And they would, let me let Dan look at it and then.
Okay, I was just curious what it.
It's scaled down quite a bit but he still was going to do some, seminars or teaching things, like chips,
Chipping.
I think he listed 3 on-site things. But there's one aspect of that I don't really like, okay, in what he said he wanted to do. So I need some clarification from before I would sign off on it. And it's supposing, and you said that's what you wanted to do, was the code enforcer was going to be the dog catcher.
that's where I'd like to get to.
Yeah, well, because I don't think this, the original one had them doing the patrolling and picking up.
Mhm. Okay.
Can I back up just a minute on you?
Sure.
Under abatement costs, 2,000, can you explain that?
Yeah, again, it's just a number to plug in there. If the city has to go in and clean up a mess somewhere,
I would like to include the cost of a decibel meter.
A what mean?
Of which?
a decibel meter.
Noise meter,
Oh,
to measure noise in decibels,
Decibels.
because I'd like to add a decimal condition to the nuisance ordinance.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So if I can come up with a price on Amazon for something that would be suitable for a city, would that be okay?
Mhm.
Or we can check with Eureka and see what they use.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I think we can work out something that will get us a minimum footprint, which is good, I think, to see where we want to go, see what kind of problem we got. We don't know. Or I don't know.
noise problem?
No, animals.
Animals, okay.
I think it's like a lot of the other things that we already get a handle on it.
Well, I had one other thing, since we're talking code enforcement, under the IT other expense, we had that $3,300 this year to purchase iWork, I believe. There's bound to be some annual renewal cost that needs to be figured in. I don't know what it is.
My question is, can that be part of the same software that we use for licenses, or will it not?
It's a totally separate product.
Okay. I've never-
invented by a
not seen-
different company.
Not seeing what it does, so.
Yeah. Seems like they had some kind of a licensing thing,
They do.
module that they offered too, but I think it'd be better to include it with our accounting system since it requires payment of fees and accounting, so. Whereas iWork
What-
doesn't really
what the
do that.
What the iWork has in it is you've got properties identified, and when you click on a property, it populates all the information that you've decided needs to be on your form. Name, address, phone number, UBL number, all that stuff is associated with the property is part of that.
I wonder if this software was CSA, because it does have a property feature in it that you could activate. It said you can tie it into a property
Yeah.
system.
Okay.
We need to
investigate
find
it.
out that.
Yep.
Now with the iWorks, would there be much in there that would need to tie in with accounting?
For what he's using it for, only if you want to put in your, I don't know how your accounting requires projected expense, like you've got to file with the courthouse legal fees. You know, if there's a liability feature of it that you want to use.
Well, and of course,
Because there's each one of the complaints that he files has a penalty,
The fines.
the fines. It's either anticipated revenue or anticipated
well, of course,
expense.
we're just cash receipts and
Okay,
disbursements, so
So
we
you don't
don't
need
worry
that then.
about,
I don't think there's integration then.
yeah.
I don't think you'd want to declare revenue and set up a receivable.
No,
Yeah.
no. And,
Okay.
it's my understanding, you know, the amount that we get by the time the state's done taking their, you know, 85% or something like that, and the judge takes his cut and everything else, you know, what the cities actually get is not very much anyway.
Yeah. We've got
We're back to where we started then. Okay.
10,000 for vehicle for code enforcement.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, a number that, you know, I've been talking to the sheriff, you know, when they get a reasonably good vehicle that they're getting ready to trade in, you know, something that's not good enough to do high pursuits out in the country anymore, or high-speed pursuits, but would be plenty good enough for us to drive around Holiday Island.
20 or 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Used golf cart.
And we did put something in for maintenance and
Yeah.
1,200 for maintenance and 1,200 for fuel.
I just think that it would give our code enforcement officer more credibility if he was driving around in a more official vehicle.
Well, it'll look good in the parades too.
Parades.
And like you said, if he is catching animals, it would give him
Yeah.
a way to
Right,
count,
right.
transport.
And apparently through the league, insurance is only $100
Oh, wow.
Really?
on a vehicle.
Good.
That's what I was told by them. And if you looked, I think it was in City and Town, there was a supplement in there. They had all the insurance rates and everything. And then Ann and I talked a little, wondered, well, if we got a newer vehicle, would the insurance be more? And it just shows the vehicle's $100.
Is that just liability? Certainly not.
I don't know.
It'd have
I
to be.
haven't gotten back.
$100.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna buy some of that.
Can we insure our vehicle? I'm sure it doesn't have any.
If our vehicle gets
collision
wrecked,
coverage.
would it pay for that?
No, it's gotta be liability
Yeah.
only. But
Okay.
we're buying an old vehicle, so.
Yeah, that's,
You know.
well, the liability part is the only thing I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
You know, if we wreck our $10,000 car, then, you know, we'll just
Get another one.
get another one.
Yeah,
That 100 might have been 100 per month because it,
No.
no? Okay, all right,
don't think so.
okay.
District Court,
Or maybe 100 per vehicle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for a city with a fleet,
Yeah,
it wouldn't be that small a number.
yeah.
District Court got 9,000 in and for the prosecuting attorney, and that's per his contract.
What are legal fees?
Oh, that was Justin for something, I think we called him about, had an issue maybe
Yeah,
in getting this court
yeah, there shouldn't be any
document
legal
lined
fees.
up.
It's $100, but there shouldn't be any legal fees over and above the prosecuting attorney.
That's fine.
Okay. Then there's the court fees and the sheriff, district judge, got $4,700. So a total of $13,825 for court.
It's highly unlikely we won't spend that next year. We'll probably
Right.
only spend a very small part of that because the way it works is that you go through the year, and then at the end of the year, the district court clerk gives Eureka Springs and us and the county basically an itemized bill, and how many county cases they processed, how many Eureka Springs were processed, and how many Holiday Island were processed, and then the expenses are prorated based on the number of cases. But they don't determine that for
For 24 until the end of 24.
right. It's a year in arrears basically. So in January or February, all we're going to owe for is
2 quick.
2 or 3 or well, at this point only 2 cases because the court calendar is full through December already. So we will owe for 2 cases this year. So it's not going to be very
And
much.
we pay that in 24.
So you're gonna come out ahead for 24.
Do we need,
Probably.
based on that kind of count, do we need to go back to Shield and see if we can get that reduced or?
Well, I don't know if Aaron's had a lot going on and it's taken us a long time to actually get all the bugs worked out of this district court thing.
Really?
And there's still some things we find out when we actually try to take somebody to court. But next year, I fully plan on having the code enforcement activity be a whole lot more aggressive than what it was this
Are
year.
you tired of listening to me, huh?
Well, it just needs to be done.
Yeah.
I know it needs to be done.
Yeah, and I'm tired of listening to you. All right, moving on.
Okay, moving on. Planning Commission, we've got $400 a month in for salaries. That was Lynn's estimate, right?
It was my correction of what I'd seen earlier.
Yeah, and Dan had more.
Yeah, there's been,
Is that for Lynn or who are we hiring?
That's for Lynn, basically, because
Well, he's doing a lot.
Put in a lot
He's-
of time.
putting in, it's a full-time job for him right now, and
Hopefully we'll get to more level.
well, it doesn't sound like if we're gonna buy some new software and I gotta learn how to use it and populate all the data, so I think I'll change that back to 9,600.
I don't know.
Because I got spreadsheets that work pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the argument I heard about our software a year ago.
we don't want to kick you into a new income tax bracket or anything.
Well, I don't see why we need any more software.
Well, I kind of like the idea. I just haven't seen what it's going to take and what it's going to generate.
Right.
You don't like the idea of permitting software, licensing software? Is that what?
No, I don't see where we need anything else. That way, by the time
Well,
we get,
It took me 12 hours to generate 18 permits through specifically written resolutions and permit documents, just 12 hours.
Oh, this is the other part, this is the other half of that 25.
Well, if the software can generate a form that'll populate with data from whatever database it requires, by clicking a few buttons, it won't take 12 hours. It'll take 12 minutes
Right.
or less.
Okay, this is where the other half of that 25,000 comes from. I don't see it in.
Well,
I don't
that's
see
what I
it-
say, I don't see it in
I don't
the,
see it in there.
Yeah.
you said it's down below, but I didn't see it. So we gotta find it.
$24.98
$2,400
under
bucks.
other.
Not
Well,
$25,000.
There it
it's
is.
above in
Other expense, there it is.
Well,
Whoa,
in
you-
administrative, you only put in half of it.
Whoa, you
Right.
went the other way.
Right
I
here.
guess it's the other half.
Where's the other half?
That, you
We're looking
you
at it.
hit it, go back.
And planning commission.
You're there, whoa. Let's see.
It's not there. It's not
I saw it a
there.
minute ago.
IT software.
You're looking for the,
Planning commission.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep
Keep
going.
going.
There you
There it
go.
is.
Oh, okay, all right. Very
Man,
good. So that's the
Yeah.
CSA stuff.
we're gonna have to cut his.
And then, plus, if Lynn can do it on a spreadsheet, but then when we receive payments and have deposits and stuff, then it have to go back and redo it and put it into accounting software. Because I have to set up all those people when they make payments. I've got to set them up in the system.
right.
Then if you go on down through there, rest of them, well, there's, we've got $1,500 for legal fees there. The IT, the telephone, that's, I think, for one phone.
Whose phone would that be?
It's just what they're allocating to me. I don't use it, but that's what they're allocating to our department.
I thought about that, whether we might need another one or two phones, given that we're gonna be adding personnel next year. May need some new phone units and maybe some new phone numbers, and that's added expense to UMA.
What personnel are we gonna add?
Well, you've got half-time people here
Yeah,
doing various things.
it's basically,
It's gonna have the same ones.
we got, yeah, it's the same people, except that one of the halftime people might go full-time.
Oh, okay.
But that's only if we do the trash thing. So, otherwise,
And that-
in the budget we're looking at right now, there's only 3 halftime people, and then Lynn
And then Lynn,
and Wes.
okay.
Um,
Would Lynn need another extension added to UMA, so he has an
Well,
official
what-
extension?
when I was here, what Chris did was transferred to my cell phone and it just went right through, just like pressing the button to transfer to a different desk set. So that works fine. Don't need a city telephone number.
Oh, so
I published my
you'd
number.
say the calls would go into the office assistant?
Well, that's
Position.
what she handled before, then transferred them to me, rings my phone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as rare as it
But
happens,
you
that's
don't want a
okay.
separate number on the city for that, okay.
Yeah, then I'd have to carry a piece of software and another phone number.
Just asking.
Yeah.
So, the new girl starts Monday, is that?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got 1,500 in there for publishing in the paper, 3750 for signs. You have to put a sign up on,
All conditional use permits require 2 signs posted on each property. They're about $10 a piece with the wire stamp.
And they get reimbursed through
Yeah,
Fees.
that's, our fee
Right.
covers a lot of the expense, yeah.
and we've got code inspections. Is that for someone to go out and do the inspections then? Is that what that is, 1,000?
Well, it'd be if someone, if there's some complaint formed, or, if there's a
Okay.
complaint filed and we need to spend some money, whether them or the fire department or whoever.
Okay,
I would not expect that when we have a fire chief check properties for the city, that they would do that free. There'd probably be a fee attached to that.
and we've got 1,000 for mapping, and that's the data scout, I believe. Public safety, we've got $300 a month for the rent for the sheriff's office over here.
Yeah, you're still in the planning going there. There you go.
What was that, Ken?
You were still in planning, you were talking about, go ahead.
Yeah.
You were
It's
talking
okay.
about public safety and you hadn't scrolled down far enough, so I'm looking at,
Oh,
you were talking
okay.
about one thing and he had something else displayed.
okay.
Back to mapping services,
Yeah.
that can't be Data Scout, because Data Scout is
Right.
the
Data Scout
first
is up
line.
there.
I submitted that number just in case.
GIS maybe?
Well, it's GIS type work for doing mapping and zoning. And the map that I've got takes a lot of time to mess with and it's not perfect, but some mapping services from professionals that do it, it'd be very easy.
Oh, so it might be a new acquisition.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
a bit, I'm thinking we may have to do something different, so I submitted a number for $1,000, not knowing if we have to spend it.
Great.
Okay.
It's there like a placeholder if we have to get to that point.
And there's somebody that lives in Holiday Island that does mapping like that for.
Yes, he's a global, his biggest customer base is in Florida, but he lives in Holiday Island.
Great.
Okay. If we go on to public safety, we've got the rent for the office. We've got the fire contract of $5,000 there. Now, we had a contact, an email from someone, I don't know if, did you
Yeah.
respond to that?
Yeah, it doesn't require any response.
It was not a FOIA, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
okay.
I don't see the rent. Oh, it's up at the top. I got it. Okay, keep going.
The fire contract, last year at the end of the year, we paid the district $50,000. This year, it will be $5,000 in December, and it'll be $5,000 next year. We've reduced that because we took over 100% of the sheriff contract. And that's probably gonna, have to look. It's running us about $5,000 a month right now, or $5,400 under their contract. But we've only got one deputy right now, and the contract calls for two,
Probably
so.
still only have one.
Well, I talked to Sheriff Platt just recently about that, and because of their difficulty in retaining personnel, he is going to try to get the approval to cover our second deputy. Instead of assigning somebody full-time out here, let his other deputies work overtime and patrol out here. They would still only charge us the straight time. They wouldn't charge
They gonna
us
buy back
the overtime.
they gonna buy back the second, the vehicle then?
No, Jeff is
Why do we need?
driving.
Okay. That was what the deputy, they're gonna reassign a
And
deputy.
then I assume they would, bill us for the hours
Linda, will you run this now?
that second
Can I
deputy.
drop this off for Lynn to us?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Here you go.
Okay.
I'll get on
We'll
this way. and then you can
finish
just
what we
let me know.
started. Okay, thank you.
Then we would, right now, since we don't have two deputies, according to the provisions of the contract, we're paying based on hours patrol.
No, I know, but we bought a vehicle for a second deputy, and if we're not getting a second deputy, we're just gonna get somebody that's, a deputy that's already there. Why the hell do we need a second vehicle?
I will say, we have paid for the second
I know we
vehicle,
paid
but
for it.
they haven't cashed the check yet.
Okay.
They may only have enough vehicles to support
No.
one, the
If-
full-time
That is the way the
staff
contract
that's
reads.
working full
Yeah.
days.
If, they don't have enough vehicles for deputies to be working overtime,
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Okay.
and So if they're gonna have somebody patrolling out here on overtime,
Yeah.
they're gonna need a second vehicle.
We still, yeah.
Let's see, and we're talking about, public safety, okay, utilities. That's basically the electric bill, $1,100. And we're not being billed for water right now, so.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, the district's providing the water.
Yeah,
over
they're
there.
paying for the water. Okay, questions on that? Otherwise, solid waste. We've got $1,000 in there for, that's the dumpster down there.
Why
And
is it 1,000 when we paid 2,000 this year already? Only
You
3/4
going
of
back
the
to
way
the smaller one?
well, that may, if we don't, depending on what is decided about trash service, 1,000 is probably not enough.
And what are we
Because it's
paying right?
running
It's like 200.
200 plus a month.
The original one was like 120 or something.
Yeah, but we were constantly being billed for
That was before
overage.
that was before we got all the illegal dumping out of it.
Yeah,
But I don't know, you may.
we could probably go back to a smaller dumpster again.
But you may, I don't know how some of the B&B things are gonna end up. Are you contemplating some of the people with B&Bs using that same dumpster?
No,
Well, yeah, I mean, the one we're looking at is based on if we are not doing solid waste. So if we don't do solid waste of the trash service, then 1,000 is probably not enough because that dumpster
I think
runs
it'd be
more.
the same about as last year, wouldn't you?
Well, it depends on if you.
And
go
did
back
we
to
even
smaller
have it
units.
all year? I don't think we did.
I think,
bump that up to $2,300 because I think the rate we're paying right now is like $191 a month
Yeah,
for that
but then
bigger
there's,
dumpster. But we
there's
can go.
taxes on it, then there's sales tax.
I thought that was the actual bill that we paid. But
Oh, the one I just,
we can go back to the smaller dumpster now that we have things under control.
I mean,
okay.
it's really.
I think $2,300 will easily cover it.
Really worked well. I have to put the lock on there.
That's good.
The locks help, but the camera and the sign that says it's a $10,000 fine, I think, got their attention too.
Okay, yeah.
So Wes, I revised in our spreadsheet to 2,300.
Okay.
Advice of the mayor.
Good, okay. And other than that, there's a couple $100 for, illegal dump cleanups. That would be stuff dumped in the ditch.
Where's that?
So,
Line 198, other expenses, illegal dump
Oh,
cleanup.
there, I see what you're
yeah.
saying.
So that brings our total expenses then to $351,924.
I have a question. This bucket right here is 873. Was that intended to be in the bad debt service column?
Well, no.
No,
Okay, all right.
no.
Okay.
That was it, if we do
If we
trash.
did solid waste.
Okay, all right.
One suggestion there, down there, you say surplus deficit. Since you're not allowed to have a deficit budget, you need to put what your carryover is.
Yeah.
And show that you have a net gain, you're still positive.
Wes did give us a number on what
I
the,
did. And
what the
do I
carryover is
have
gonna be.
that? I had projected what our carryover was going to be.
Where's that go?
Well, you just have. to
Under
have another
revenue.
line.
the other cities put their carryover bank balance, basically, they put it in as revenue for the next year.
I was curious,
But you can't.
some of us didn't take accounting and business.
You can't show a debt, that you can't
I
show
know
a
that,
debt.
but I didn't know where it fit in the.
So that's a line under revenue, government revenue,
Well, I like it with carryover.
really.
That's.
Well, you should put it underneath the deficit.
Well, I thought the deficit would take the offset as
Well-
income to this line so that this number
Okay.
would be balanced.
Okay,
That's how I would do it, but it's just a spreadsheet.
that'll work.
Okay,
Yeah, you were saying what I would.
what is your
propose.
carryover? You can
What
put it
is
wherever
the
you want,
carryover?
but what do you think the carryover is?
I don't know, it's around 50,000 or something.
No,
No.
I'm asking me.
What does that mean?
It's what, no, I know what it means, that's the guy that.
I don't have my calculation in here.
I thought it was less than that.
I don't
It's 40 or
think.
50,000, I think.
So for right now, should I put an estimated carryover of 27,374?
Well, it's
put
more
that-
like 200 plus.
Oh,
200,000?
No,
Well,
not in general.
Yeah,
mhm.
well, no, I think it's
What,
like,
do you have that sheet?
I think it's like 175. I didn't put it in here either for some reason. in
Well,
my
you
folder.
don't need to put it in now, you can put it in before you send it to the county.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
just to- just
So I had it
to-
figured out, my projection. I don't have.
now we're at positive 72.
Now, that can be looked at later.
So I put your carryover in there, 100 grand, and I included that in the formula, so now
Yeah,
we're
like I
positive
say, I'm-
72.
There you go.
Sure, it's closer to.
That works.
200, it's closer to maybe 190.
Well, whenever you
The,
figure out what it is, you just put it in there.
Yeah. Figure that out later.
We don't need to hassle about that. I just know you gotta have it in there before it goes to the county.
What did we have? There was,
This was the financial
And-
statement in October, and we had
oh, that's September,
I don't know, I may
Yeah.
have one.
Yes.
but it stayed about the same, I think.
Here's your October numbers if you want to.
Well, it was October.
I just printed.
I got it on it, you have
See,
it?
in October, we had 230,000 in the balance,
Is that it?
General.
and
Okay.
we'll be,
That's not including the street fund, right?
no,
no,
Okay.
so I still think it was like 190,
You don't know what it's gonna
192,000.
be.
Did you already pay the fire, the 50,000 in October?
That's 5.
Or in this year? Okay, all right.
yeah, it's 5.
Okay.
Seeing we're
We
paying,
got 2 months.
so we're only gonna be paying 5,000 out for that. So,
Anyway, it's here, so it's a placeholder for now.
yeah,
You can come up with a figure that, whatever you think is equitable, 180, 190, whatever.
Yeah, stick it in before we have the ordinance approval.
Yeah.
Resolution approval.
I don't know, when do you have to send the budget to the county? Is it after the end of the
I've
year?
already done, well, the budget, I've sent the property taxes.
No, I know, but you send it, you have to give the budget to the quorum court or
I don't
sometime.
think so.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you do have to
No.
send the budget
We have
someplace.
to
We-
publish it in the newspaper.
Have to-
Yeah, we have to approve the budget by January 31st and
Okay.
publish it in the paper.
Well, by then you'll know what it is, what the,
Mhm.
Well, we'll probably pass our budget in the December meeting. I think that's what we did last year.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, you can come up with an equitable
I think we
figure to
did.
put in there and then.
Okay, Now-
okay, any questions on this one?
I don't see any reason to go into the one with the thing until the solid waste, until we decide if we're gonna go that way.
yeah, I guess let me make some comments on this. The reason why I presented a draft budget showing, us potentially taking over the solid waste was because it seemed to me at the time that it was the only way that we were ever gonna be able to get our arms around code enforcement. Because, I spent literally hundreds of hours trying to match up the Carroll County Solid Waste customer database with the HICID water customer database, which should have, you know, the HICID database should have been all the potential customers, and the Carroll County database would have been all the actual customers. But the way they set up their databases, it's dang near impossible to merge them to see where the discrepancies are. And even if you do get it to merge, in the Carroll County database, as long as there's, you know, if somebody moved away 5 years ago and they didn't pay their last 2 months trash bill, they're still on the Carroll County list because they owe money. Now, I don't know how long they go before they declare it uncollectible and get it off the list, but you know, I can, you know, there are addresses in their database that may have, you know, 5 different names associated with that one address. So anyway, I gave up on that, and you know, trying to get it reconciled once was seemingly impossible. Trying to maintain it, I decided was impossible. So working with Carroll County Solid Waste, they more recently, just 2 weeks ago, provided me with a list of every account that's been canceled. And the database goes back to 2007, so I immediately started doing some filtering to get it down to the last couple of years. It's still a pretty long list of addresses, but I started scanning it, and you know, just people that I knew that had moved away and died and stuff like that, you know, I scratched them off the list. I think we can get that down to a manageable number of addresses, and then we'll have Jill, you know, that'll be one of her tasks when she comes on board, to work with Regina to find out who's actually living at that address now, so we'll know if that person canceled their service because they moved or because they passed away or something, or whether or not they just decided they weren't going to pay for trash anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that'll get us down to something that's workable as far as code enforcement.
I think
So
we need to get that up, you know, her going in and see what she can do, and get the new code enforcement person on board, and
because what,
and
you know,
see where the hell we're at.
the city doing the trash billing, you know, first of all, we would have very little leverage. And you can, if somebody just refuses to pay their trash bill, you know, we can't shut their water off like every other city in the world does, because the trash bill is on the water bill.
Right.
And so the only thing we can do is threaten to, you know,
Give
cite
them
for
a notice
citation.
of code enforcement, code violation.
And then they'd go to court.
And if they go to court and they don't go to court, then they get a arrest warrant, and I think that'll get their attention.
It would, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot
You
of
ain't
work.
gonna have to do it to very many before they get figured out.
I don't know,
Is this mine?
but
Is this mine, Dan? The water,
I don't know.
is that mine?
I didn't bring it in here.
Who brought the water?
Oh, that's
Do I?
mine. I brought it in.
Is that for me?
Yeah, I was gonna sit in your spot, and I was told my spot
here
was
then.
over here.
Well,
Okay.
there's more in the refrigerator if you want one.
If you need one, Wes, I'll grab one for
No,
you.
I'm okay.
Oh, yeah, you can have this one.
Oh, that's
Give me
okay.
this one.
No, here.
You don't want it?
It's not been opened.
Okay.
All right, so making a long story even longer, I think I have a workable plan
Look,
that, you know, so that we don't have to consider the city doing the trash billing
I
this
would-
coming year.
Okay.
Whether you
And,
want it or not, I would offer my service. That's what I did for a living. data analysis, system design. And if I had what I had before, I could write a COBOL program that would months off, just figuring out how to apply what the tools we have now.
They still have COBOL programming, yeah.
Not anymore.
You're gonna have to find a computer to run it.
There's a few systems,
It's all
36 sitting around.
Went over to Oracle.
That's gonna cost you.
I'm sure Dan wouldn't mind you coming in here and saying, here's what we got. Figure it out.
Really, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I don't mind telling you, the damn good one.
Our tools right now consist of probably
Spreadsheet.
maximum of Excel and Access.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Access, which is just another
If you know how
database.
to use it.
Yeah.
You can write
I
your
can
code in
learn how to
Access if
write
you know
Access.
Yeah, you do. You wrote COBOL, it's just a user-friendly version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You write entire applications written in Access. It's probably what the
I
CSS
wrote
software is
other
written with.
things too, but I used a lot of different databases.
Okay.
Well, I was wondering if you couldn't, like from your data scout or something, can you get a list of all the property owners of property that's improved, that has residences on it, and then can you work from that?
But you're gonna
that'll
have to
be-
get some kind of input from the district, like
You could definitely get the extract from the district and filter
when
it
they
down
have,
to
no,
just
when they
from
have,
that.
when they have changes or something. I wouldn't
Still
wanna go through the whole thing
Figuring out how to
every
match
month.
it
I
is
would
the
just
tough
want,
part.
when they have, if you figure out how to deal with just the changes, once you get it, and you can't really do anything until we get all of the non-residents and the B&B things into what they're doing and identify it.
Okay, so any other questions on the budget?
Thank you, sir.
Well, I have a question about the street fund budget that you sent.
Okay, I didn't really work on the budget yet because we had to have a meeting yesterday with the attorneys to talk about, what we're gonna do going forward, but what's your question?
Well, you were talking about buying these solar powered speed feedback
Yeah.
signs.
Mm-hmm,
I vote no.
yeah,
I said it's a waste of money. People
Oh.
don't look at them, they won't react to
I
them.
would think
That's a lot of
a
money.
couple or 2 or 4 at the most, rather than 10. And you can
They're
move them around.
$3,500 a piece.
Well, you can move them around. You don't.
no, these are permanent.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen something you can move around, and then that would.
You know, we drive by those things all the time. People go, oh, yeah, I'm going too fast. And keep on
Well,
driving.
sometimes there are people that I do it myself. I'd be going down Holiday Island Drive and forget what I'm doing. I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I'm at 35.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then I slow down
Mhm.
if I.
So this would jog you to say,
Yes, they would tell
I
me.
will say the
I can
signs
tell you,
make me
it
slow
slows, when I drive onto the VA campus in Fayetteville, it slows me down instantly. Cause that light will start flashing at me and the angry face comes up and,
Is anybody
Well, I-
driven in Europe recently?
Um,
Because when we were in Ireland, they have a completely different system. You don't even see it. It broadcasts on your radio in your car. Even if your radio's turned off. I have no
Wow.
idea how it does
That's
that.
a nice.
It took me a while before I figured I had to ask somebody, how come my radio's making that funny noise where you're going over the speed limit? I don't know how it works. I have no idea how it works, but I
yeah,
can guarantee
the
you.
technology is there.
maybe a
They have
little
it
more
there.
expensive than that.
The technology is there to control the speed on your car so that you couldn't speed.
Oh, well,
'Cause
I don't want that.
when I'm driving down the road and I have Google Maps playing through my car
Well, mine
screen, it's got the speed limit right down there.
Mine does that too.
What
It
you're
has a
going.
speed limit and then it turns red,
Yeah,
and which is fine unless my wife is sitting next to
Well,
me.
you got to.
Because I think that, I know you disagree with me, I think those are suggestions, I don't necessarily
Well,
pay attention to what it says.
If I know that I'm in a hurry to get somebody, when I get to Holiday Island Drive, I set the cruise control. So it won't
That's why I
speed up.
say, most of this stuff doesn't work unless you got your cruise control on.
If, you know, I don't, yeah, I've talked to Jeff Bilbo about this, and,
What, and he
He-
thought it was a good idea?
you know, he and I agree that the people coming down Holiday Island Drive at 30 to 32 miles an hour, they're not the problem. It's the guys, the people flying through at 40 and 50 miles an hour. And I do think that a light flashing at them with a sign under it that says, "No excuses." You just gave up your excuse.
Yeah.
Well, you need to go.
We'll do
a step
some
further.
good.
Go a step further and put a camera on it and take a picture of the car and.
Now he's talking real money.
Well, I know, but you're talking about getting something done.
I don't know, it's something to think, I still think, I pay attention to it.
I
I
just don't think we need 10 of them.
I didn't say we need, I don't know
Well,
how many we need, but.
I didn't plan on buying 10 right off the
Okay.
bat. I just
All right, well,
budgeted
that's-
for it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, you didn't say that, sir. You said 10.
Well,
I take.
we didn't have a budget meeting yet on the
Okay.
road budget.
Okay.
So,
Well, did
I
we
might-
get it, when do you expect to hear from the state on that?
I don't know, they meet in December, so I could call Jonathan again and make sure we're on the list, but I don't
Well, I'd do that.
think we have to worry about that because
Should be.
he's
Wouldn't
already,
hurt to make sure though. It's $300,000.
you know.
And, do you know what the argument is? I thought they had agreed that as long as we stayed under 10% of the road mileage, that there was not a problem. And I don't think we're going to exceed that with this proposal.
Yeah, it's
Or have they got?
and that's kind of the way we're gonna proceed
Okay.
for next year yet, so.
What proposal are we talking about? I missed part of that
The
conversation.
grant submission to the state highway department for the.
Okay,
The plan, although we haven't had a budget meeting on it yet, the plan for next year is to hopefully get the grant from the state and then do Woodsdale and the last half a mile of State Line Drive. And then the district would dedicate those streets to the city.
and we'd find out first of the year sometime.
No,
We could find out as early as December sometime.
I thought, when we did, we actually got the grant in '22. And they approved it in, like December of '21 or.
no.
Don't those require a matching part of something?
No.
No matching?
No matching, but
Seems like we put up some money.
Well, it's because we went past the 300,000.
that's because we went up to 600,000 on the project, so
Yeah.
we had to pay for our
I
part up
think
front.
what this year is like
No,
5.
comment, we ended up putting 307,000 into that. This week, we got a refund of 47,000
That's fun.
because they went through and they had a schedule that showed the total project cost and what our share was, and we got the refund. Now, I don't exactly understand, I have an idea, but when you go through the cost and through their calculation, the state ended up providing exactly 20,000 more than we did.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that is engineering or something, because the deal was they did all the engineering.
Mhm.
And I tell you what, the engineering and the contractor that they hired did such a
They were good.
good job,
Compared
so
to
much
what we
better
did
than
get.
what the district has ever managed to have.
Really true.
And I don't know whether, if we had to do a project on our own, could we hire the state to do the engineering?
No,
No.
but we could make sure that their bid,
Specs?
that the people that respond to their bid requests would be on our list of
Okay. With
prospective bidders.
if we could get them to, and for some reason they seem more,
Yeah.
hopefully. You know, I
The
mean,
state's got a lot of leverage, I mean.
I know, and that's,
they do
I
so
would
much
like to get their
Yeah,
leverage
sure, that's
on board when if we try to do one
I mean, no-
road project on our own.
No contractor is gonna mess around with the state because they
Well,
get so much of their business from the state.
Well, the last few road projects in district, just.
Linda, I had one question.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned to Dan in an email, but it's not in this budget. We get into this permitting and everything and these licenses. We've got our 100-year-old antiquated system for handling cash receipts. Should we be looking at some sort of a electronic cash
You're
register?
talking like a point of sale
Yeah,
system, kind of like the district.
to post
uses.
these payments, so if people come in to pay a bill,
What
Did
kind
they-
it would just come up,
transactions.
it would be hooked into the billing system,
Yeah.
what kind
so
of,
they
Don't they
could,
have that with the district right now, where the point of sale is hooked in somehow?
I don't
Or
know.
automatically
Yeah.
transfers transactions?
yes,
I thought
but
so.
I mean, what kind of bills are you talking about?
Yeah, well, who's coming in to pay what?
Permits, he's probably.
Well, right now, we're talking permits.
Well, would that not be included in the permit software?
Yeah, I
You
think
said
it
it was
would.
interfacing with the accounting.
But I don't know,
What?
I don't know if the hardware would be
What hardware?
To take cash, he's.
to enter your information.
I don't know, I would research that package that you're talking about getting, because it should have an interface to take, I mean, when you put out the permit, it's should set up a receivable.
Well, and also, you kind of make a good point here, because if you're only taking an occasional cash payment, from somebody and making change with petty cash, how often is that going to walk in the door?
Not very often.
Not very often.
But
It did today,
How many?
$30 worth.
That's not enough to justify hardware.
No, but you need to make sure, you need to find out what this permit in
What it
licensing
can
software,
Yeah.
because it's got to set up, give a bill, so it's either gotta be a receivable
You
or you
need
gotta
to
pay
have
it.
some way of recording the transaction, the cash transaction when it's happened. I think that's what you're getting.
Well, I know, but I think at the time, if it's interfaced with your accounting system, it's either gotta, when you give them the permit, they're either gonna pay you cash, or you're gonna set up a receivable.
But the thing about it is, the office assistant doesn't necessarily have access to the accounting system.
Right.
Certainly not today.
No, it would be, she
Yeah,
would
and I wouldn't-
take the
And I
transaction.
don't know
want
if
that.
you'd want that to happen
No.
even.
Well, you
But,
need,
on the other
you
hand,
need to
that
wait until you see
module,
what what
has
this
to
software
have-
package does, because like.
But
Scott-
neither does HICID. I don't think the people that take the money at the
don't
window have access to their accounting system either.
I've been told the district manager does not even have access to it.
Yeah, I don't think he would know how to do anything.
I don't think he has access.
They
He
take,
posts later.
they take it down to somebody in the office, and they, from the point of sale. and
They record the transactions in some fashion and then hand it over to
Probably
Carrie or
they
one
do
of the
a
other
summary
people.
posting.
Well, right now, regardless of what it is, if it's bag tags, or if it's building permits, or if it's cup
CUPs.
applications or whatever, we take a check or cash, we write a manual receipt, and then, Wes gets the yellow copy of the receipts, and that's our accounting
I mean,
system.
I could foresee, if this, accounting software for licensing and permitting works as I'm thinking it might work, that you would have some way for them to interface online,
Right,
Right.
To-
and I think,
fill out an application,
I think
and
you-
get it responded to them and make the payment.
I think you need to either figure out what that.
I would like
software-
to sit in on whatever future telephone conference you have
Okay.
about that, so I can understand it.
Tuesday at 2:00.
Is it next Tuesday? 2:00, can't make it.
There's also one on Thursday.
At 9, is there one at 9:30, I thought? But I could probably make the one on Thursday.
There ought to be some way,
Which is crazy.
I mean, if it's that kind of dollar value, it ought to have some, it's gotta make some provision for payment.
Mm-hmm. That's
I
what
mean,
I'm thinking.
you can't just let it hang out there.
Right.
I mean, because then it's not interfaced, you said it interfaces with your accounting system. So it's gotta make a
It's got to
provision.
be hooked in some way.
Right.
And our accounting is in the cloud, so.
Yeah.
But
We'll
like
get
you
it
say,
figured out.
I don't want them having to have any access to the accounting system.
Well, you're gonna have access, you're gonna have to have some access. But
Well,
it's
right.
It's just posting. I
Yeah.
mean, this is part of your control.
Well, Wes can do the posting, of course.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no,
He could do it through manual receipts too, so.
well, that's what he says he's not wanting to do.
I know, we'd like it more efficient.
I mean, you'd better wait to find out what the software does before you may not have a problem.
You can make
What-
sure we will.
Whatever you end up with, and I'm not quite sure I know what you're all talking about, but you're still gonna have to have a hard copy receipt when all of your
Yeah.
automatic transactions are done.
Well, I know, but the
Yeah.
software
Still have to have
package
a
ought to
paper.
print a receipt, okay?
It does. I mean, it's already in the
Yeah.
information Wes had. It says it prints receipts.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
A terminal for the clerk at the front desk to
Right.
use,
Right.
whether it be
Yeah.
a screen and a keyboard or an actual, I don't think you probably need an actual cash register. You got an access to the software to generate
Access.
receipts.
Well, and somehow, and from what I've seen someplace, if they come in and give you a payment, you can print out a receipt on the printer.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you gotta-
Using their app.
I mean,
Just be careful about how fancy you get, because today I was able to sell bag tags. 6 months from now, I don't want to have to go to
Oh
a
my
class
God, where's the
to learn
terminal?
how to do
Sell a bag
posting on some fancy schmancy computer system
well,
to
I
be
think
able
we could
to sell
always
a
have
bag tag.
paper backup.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, the system ought to
it
have,
took me.
has to have a provision. for
It didn't
people to
take me
record
2
data.
minutes to write out a receipt.
Because you're gonna have a day when internet's down and you can't do it electronically. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to be able to take manual ones also.
Anyway,
But,
you guys are talking about a problem you don't know whether you got or not.
That's true.
well, and if we get this all set up, we may want
Okay.
for them to just have the ability to go online and make a payment.
I would hope.
Yeah.
See, I think we're just plowing,
We need to find out more information.
right?
I'm looking here, Linda.
That's neither here nor there.
While they're talking about that,
Yeah.
any public comments?
I have a question, it's not related to anything you're talking about, though. It has to do with, when are the letters going out to the people to let them know about the cut for
I don't
the
know,
short-term
Lynn and I haven't
rentals?
talked about that. Have
I
you?
haven't spent any time on it this week.
Yeah,
I have a draft of what we'll put on for content. I have a database. What I haven't done is contact someone, what it's gonna cost to have it done. We don't have the capability here to generate 1,500 postcards. So you need to figure out who can do that and what they need from us.
I see, thank you very much.
and address them and,
Yeah, whether I give them
Post
an
them.
address and spreadsheet or we do it on labels and transfer them, I just haven't figured out how we're gonna do it yet.
Maybe we could give it to Wicker.
Or we use that other service when we're doing the incorporation effort.
And may I ask one more question? It has to do with the new ordinances for business licenses, for a copy
Yeah,
Be ready.
I sent you an email
Did you?
today that you probably haven't seen yet.
Okay, thank you.
I had distributed a marked up in red copy to the council for one last look, and then I'll clean it up and get you a copy,
Okay, thank you very much.
probably by Monday.
The meeting's on Wednesday.
Huh?
The meeting's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want, a week?
Yeah, I'd like a week.
We don't get a week.
Well, I'm special. No, I'm not.
If I send it out too early, you'll get 6 emails with revisions before the actual
That's why I
date.
have so much printed paper for
I
one.
see.
The budget. This is all one.
I quit printing them out, I just read them
Yeah.
online.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else directly related to the budget? You guys can
I make a motion. You need,
dream about software packages
what do
on
we,
your own time.
we have to, is that gonna be in the business, regular meeting then, pass the budget? Or are you
It
gonna
won't be in the November meeting, it'll be in the December meeting.
Okay.
And we just do it by resolution now instead of passing an ordinance, so it's no big
Sounds
deal.
reasonable.
And you still have work to do with the street fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, I had done, well, and Barb had, I had done one for the street fund
Yeah.
way back
Yeah.
when, yeah.
And I think that that's
I
basically what
think
we're
it's,
gonna
I
end up
think there's
going
no,
with.
I think you get as good as you're gonna get until you find out whether we get the
The grant,
grant or not.
yeah.
And did you get an estimate on what that would be?
Let him pound his hammer.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
We
right,
can't talk afterwards, though.
huh?
We can't talk, we can't continue talking after the
To
gathering
him,
Well,
you can.
No, I
about
said,
business, about
what did
city
you,
business.
what kind of estimate?
But the workshop was specifically about general fund budget, so
Okay.
technically, we're probably not supposed to talk about street fund budget
Right.
anyway.
Okay.
Well,
But I think what you're asking is, what was the basis for my estimate for the budget? And I basically used the actual costs from the last project, and I may have
I
added
mean,
an
is it
inflation
coming
factor.
350, 450, 550 was the total cost of the project?
Of the current one, that we, I don't know, I don't have.
The one that we hope to get an answer on in December.
I don't know. I don't have I'd have to dig it out. We're adjourned. I'm not gonna ask